Well, hey there, folks. Tip here, Stupid Gardener. Thanks for joining us today. Well, you've joined us at just the right time because today we will be planting our tomatoes, both determinate as well as the indeterminate tomatoes. So stay tuned and watch how we plant them. Okay, like I said, we're planting our tomatoes, and remember there are two types of tomatoes. There's indeterminate and determinate. The indeterminate will just grow up on a vine and it'll keep growing and growing and growing, and it can get up to 7, 8, 10 feet tall. And that's when you want to use your big tomato stakes here. And so that's what we're doing here. We got the indeterminate. I'm going to plant 3 of those. And then I have the determinate tomatoes. And we're going to do 3 of those for now, and we'll see how they come up. May put a few more in, but I think 6 tomato plants will be enough for us and enough to give away to people and everything. Now the determinate tomatoes, they're just going to grow like a bush. They're also called bush tomatoes. So you want to make sure that you're reading the label very, very carefully, so you're getting the right kind and you know how to plant them, and you know what to use to either stake them up or put them in a tomato cage just like this one here. So first thing that we want to do, now a lot of people when they plant them, they'll put in Epsom salt and bone meal and stuff like that, and I don't do that in this bed, only because this is mostly my compost that's in here. So all the nutrients are there, and I don't want to add anything that wasn't here originally. Now this is a new bed that we built back in October, November, and it's got a nice layer of compost on the bottom and all the way up top here. So what I'm planting this in is 100% compost that I did in my compost bins. So that's what this root system on this tomato is going to be feeding on. So I don't feel I need to put in Epsom salt or anything like that. And there's kind of a debate whether or not you should put Epsom salt in. Sometimes they say it causes end rot. Other people say it stops end rot, but I don't have a problem with end rot in these beds. Only time I'll have that is at the end of the growing cycle when the vines start to die. So that's what we're going to be doing today, just burying them in and not worrying about adding anything to it at this time. So now the main thing you want to do when you're planting these tomatoes is plant them deep. And as you can see, this isn't a very big tomato, but I want to get this down because in this stem, on this stem of this tomato, there's all these little fuzzy like looking like hairs and on here, and that is the root system. And you want this to establish good roots in your bed. You just don't want to plant it up to here because you want a good root system that's going to feed these leaves and everything. So what I usually do, I usually can take it off with my fingernails, but my fingernails aren't that very long, so I have my pruning shears here. Make sure these are clean, and make sure you haven't cut anything else with these, because if you're cutting something that is diseased and it's on these shears, you can very easily give it to your tomato plant or anything else that you're pruning back. So make sure you're cleaning these, which I have cleaned these. And you may even want to just have one pruning shear just for your tomatoes as you prune them. So I'm going to cut this up here and right there. So, and we'll get this planted in deep here. And this is real nice soil. I tell you, it's real nice soil down on the bottom there. It's nice and moist. We got some rain the other day, so this is just great. So we're gonna get this in here, line it on down there. And what I took out was compost, so I wanna make sure that I'm putting back in what I took off on the bottom here. And here it all is here. And we'll get that on in there. And there you go, there's our first tomato in the ground. And our first planting of 2021. So I'm gonna come back later and I'm gonna water these. And I'm gonna do like a little trough around here just to keep the water in there. And you'll probably notice right after you plant them, probably the next day, these leaves may wilt a little bit. That's just because the tomato plant is going through shock because it has been transplanted. It's all fat and happy in here, so you want to make sure that when you're planting this, you know, that, like I said, you plant it deep, get off all the suckers and everything, and cut it all the way up there. And this has a pretty good root system in there, but if you see it all bound up and everything, you want to break up that root system so it has a chance to spread out. And just remember to plant them deep. So let me get these all planted, and then I'll come back and we'll do a wrap up on this. Okay, we have our tomatoes in. And as you can see, I got them staggered just a little bit here, going down. And that's just to give them a little bit of room to grow. I wanted to get in as many as I could. And I did the same thing with the bush tomatoes. I got them staggered just a little bit, just to give them room to grow up. I probably really could have put two side by side and staggered them, but I want to give them as much room as possible. And 6 tomato plants probably will be enough. I may end up planting something else in here. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Okay, so we got everything planted in there, and we even put up the poles for our indeterminate tomatoes, as well as the cages for the determinate tomatoes. I don't want to wait too long to put those poles in, because I don't want to stick them in and damage any roots that those tomatoes are sending out. So, you know, now's the time to do them as you plant them. Get them, you know, about that far away or so. And as the tomato grows up, we will tie off the stem. And this is real good twine, and it's bungee. So when I tie that around there, it'll let the tomato grow up, as well as kind of move in the breeze, and this won't damage that stem that's going up. And I'll probably do a video on that once I start tying it up. The cages I don't have to worry about, but we'll go in there as it grows, and we'll check for suckers and different things like that, check for disease and everything. And you know, you may end up losing a tomato plant. It's no big deal. Like I said, they're going through a shock being planted. If that happens, just plant another one. So so that's not a problem. And also on my top of my beds, I'm going to put down a fine bark mulch on the top of the beds, and that just kind of keeps the weeds down, keeps that moisture in there. It's not like a back to Eden gardening. That's not what I do, because I have raised beds. But that just kind of, like I said, keeps that moisture in there, keeps the weeds down, and everything like that. And the only thing I do in these beds, I just keep adding compost to the top, and just have that layer effect on there. I don't, I never till this. In fact, I don't even own a tiller. I don't till this, I don't turn it. Only time I dig into it is when I'm planting. And I tell you, that soil that's down the bottom there, very rich, very moist. I put some worms in there from my worm bin, and there's worms all through there. And all through November and December, January and on, I was putting kitchen scraps in there. And so those kitchen scraps have been feeding that soil, the worms have been feeding on that, and that's why I got that great soil on the bottom, and that's what I want to plant into. So we'll check back in on these tomatoes in a couple of weeks and see how they're doing, see how much they have grown. And just remember to read those labels. Make sure you're getting the right kind of tomatoes that you want to grow in your area, whether you have a big area or a small area. Read those labels. And make sure, if you want to do determinate, that's what you're getting, because you'll be in a big surprise if you get the determinate and they start growing like crazy. So just keep that in mind. So I guess I will sign off from here. I want to thank everyone for watching. If you're not a subscriber, stop what you're doing, hit that subscribe button, and just follow along with us over the summer as we plant our raised garden bed. And if you have any comments, put them down below. Have any questions, please put them down below. You have any suggestions, please put those down below too. We're going to be planting our pole beans and our cucumbers, and we're going to plant some peppers also, so stay tuned for all that. So I guess I will sign off from here. This is Tip from The Stupid Gardener. Everyone take care. God bless everybody. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow along.